The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Smoke Report. As always, my name is Evan Smoke, and here are your September 22nd scores. In the 912 Sports Game of the Week, Glenn breaks their losing streak to crosstown rivals Brunswick High in between the bricks last Friday night in Glenn County Stadium. The Red Terrors defeated the Pirates 22-15 in overtime. The Tigers of Bradwell Institute defeated the McIntosh County Academy Buccaneers 35-14. The Bears and Herons met last Friday night in Caney Bay, but it was all Pierce County as they defeated Brantley 56-6. Camden wins one for the state of Georgia as they defeated Atlanta Coast High School out of Florida 47-7. The Knights matched up with the Panthers last Friday night in a battle of 912 schools, but Clinch County defeats Frederica Academy 45-7 in Homerville. Coffee County looks stout this year, folks, as they went into Richmond Hill and defeated the Wildcats 21-0. The Trojans are now 5-0. Effingham and South Effingham matched up last Friday night in Guyton at the campus of South Effingham, but the Rebels go on the road and defeat the Mustangs 42-7. The Yellow Jackets traveled over to Adel last week where Jeff Davis fell to Cook County 21-6. Liberty County hosted Johnson of Savannah last week as the Panthers defeated the Adams Smashers 42-14. Long County Blue Tide falls to Savannah Country Day 17-14 on the road. The Blue Devils made the trip up to Waynesboro last Friday night, but were defeated 34-0 by the Burke County Bears. The Gators traveled over to Bainbridge last Friday night where they were defeated by the Bainbridge Bearcats 35-21. That's the second straight road loss for Ware County. Wayne wins a low-scoring game against Jenkins of Savannah where they won 9-0 in Jessup at JC Stadium. That's all for me, folks. Once again, a lot of teams were on byes, but as always, I'll see you next week, and good luck to all the teams this Friday.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Spoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, man?
Good, Sean. Good to be sitting here talking high school football. Region action pretty much taking place all over the 912 this weekend. So we're definitely into the heart of high school football season now.
Yeah, Kevin, seems like last week we were talking about preseason games, and here we already are into week 7. So, like I said, getting into the meat of it, most everybody now at this point is into region play. I know Region 1 7A, they're off this week. They still got a week to get into it, but we're talking about a 4 or 5 team region there. So, not a lot of games to play, but let's go to the biggest game in the state, especially this 912 Sports area right here. And that's going to be the number 2 Appleton Pirates. Why they're number 2 is beyond me, but they are against the number 3 team, Pierce County Bears in Bearville this Friday night, Kevin. I got a chance to see this game last year over at Jimmy Swain Stadium. Great game. Appleton got the best of Pierce County. Pierce County had some trouble on the back end, stopping that big passing attack of the Appleton County Pirates. So we'll see what happens here. But like I said, this game, Bears do get it at home. Bears been playing really, really good on both sides of the ball, putting up 40 points, holding teams to negative yards rushing. And then Appleton is Appleton, that big defensive front. I mean, they've played some really, really stiff competition. Barely lost to the Ware County Gators. Played some really good teams out of Florida. So this team is battle tested. Not really sure about Pierce County, Kevin. I don't know. Listen, they played some decent teams, but not really near the level of competition of what Appleton has. And so we'll see if that shows up on Friday night.
Yeah, well, obviously another marquee game that involves the Appleton County Pirates. We've said that a couple of times already here in the first, 5 or 6 weeks of the season. They had that big ball game against Ware County right out of the gate, and then fought the Gators tooth and nail, and that one came up a little bbit short. And then just a few weeks back had the big backyard rivalry there against Wayne County, won that one. And so here they are, in another big ball game. Like you said, 2 versus 3 in the state. I've seen Pierce be ranked 4, depending on what poll you look at. But the bottom line is 2 top 5 teams. This one is basically, for all practical purposes, going to decide the region championship in this league. Of course, the winner would have to go on and finish things out, but certainly would have the leg up on the other. And when you look at this, Sean, a couple of things to point out, and you kind of hit on them a little bit. Appleton maybe has played the tougher schedule, to date. Obviously, I mentioned playing Ware County and Wayne. They've also had a couple of weeks to sit there and prepare for Pierce County. Now, how much did Pierce possibly prepare for Appling previously? I know they may have spent some time on them in the summer, may have done some things in practice already, even though they may not have told their kids this is Appling County. They may have disguised it in some ways. But when you look at things, so also Pierce, has kind of blown the competition away, has not really been in a close ball game. So when it gets down to the fourth quarter, how will they respond? Of course, they're also at home where they're always tough. That's a huge advantage for them to be right there in Bearville. So if it is a close game, going into the fourth quarter, they're going to feel comfortable, being right there at home. But when you look at these two teams, Sean, I mean, it could turn into a track meet. I mean, both teams certainly can move the football and put, points on the board, but they're really, really stout on defense. And I would almost tend to lean towards this being a defensive struggle where special teams could play a big factor in it, swinging the field position one way or another, or if you get a short field off a turnover or a big play in special teams, you better take advantage of it, or you punt the ball away and try to keep a team bottled up until you can get a field position in your favor. But that's the way I would lean. As soon as I say that, it probably does turn into a track meet, but this is one heck of a ball game between two of the better teams in this classification in the state, but certainly two of the marquee teams right here in the 912 area code.
Yeah. And Kevin, you mentioned that was one of the things. I had the podcast with Coach Heron that you can check out at 912sports.net. And he was concerned, Kevin, because his team has not played a 4-quarter game all year long. I mean, every game has basically been over at halftime. He's been able to rest people. He's been able to play young people. So, he really doesn't know what he has when he's backs up against the wall in the fourth quarter late, and whether his guys will have their legs up under him, because a lot of his guys do play both ways. So, that could be a concern, but I can't wait for Friday night. It's going to be, like I said, an excellent atmosphere over there in Bearville. There'll be plenty of blue on one side and plenty of red on the other, Kevin. It'll be quite the sight, and looking forward to it. So, but let's move on. We got another game, but Bacon's going to travel over to East Laurel. Bacon coming off that close loss to Clinch County here a couple weeks ago. We'll see if they can put one in the W column. The next game we're going to talk about, Kevin, is Brantley versus Toombs. Brantley kind of got hammered there Friday night against the Pierce County Bears, losing that game 56-6. And oh, by the way, you played the number 3 team. Now you get to go on the road, Kevin, and play the number 9 team in the Toombs County Bulldogs there, in the state in AA. But Brantley was able to get this game last year, Kevin. This was one of those games that was played on a Wednesday due to a hurricane coming in. Brantley elected to play it early, and it paid off for the guys. I mean, they were able to find a way to beat a very talented Toombs team last year. We'll see if they can do the same thing, but this year they're going to have to do it on the road.
Yeah, and again, could be a key game for not only Brantley but either side, really. Obviously, when you look at this region, you're looking at Appling and Pierce being the top 2 dogs, and you feel like they're going to, wind up with 2 playoff spots, maybe in the top 2 spots. So you're looking at possibly the 3 and 4 spots, being on the line for everybody else. So this is one of those key games that could factor into the playoff picture, obviously. And Brantley, got off to the good start with some, wins over teams that you felt like they could beat, and then, ran into the injury bug, particularly there at the quarterback spot, and dropped their next couple of ball games. But, and then, of course, lost to a really good Pierce team last week to start the region schedule. This Toombs team may be one of the surprises in Southeast Georgia, off to a 5-0 start. They're ranked, so this is an opportunity for Brantley to take on another ranked team. And their best win, though, Sean, no question, is that first one over Long. Maybe they snuck up on Long in that opening ball game. If you look at the rest of the teams they beat, they're not very good. Let's just be blunt about it. But Toombs has taken advantage of their schedule, has gained some confidence, and here they are playing well. And just kind of looking at the scores again, just a guess on my part, but I would think this might be another low-scoring defensive ball game here. So we'll see if the Herons can get back on the winning track over there in Caney Bay in this one. A key win would be in this ball game for either team if they could get this one.
And Coach Cannon was kind of worried, thinking maybe this game, Kevin's been circled on Toombs' calendar for 365 days with them losing to Brantley last year, being I guess on paper, a better team. But, hey, they weren't a better team that night. Brantley was able to get it. So, Brantley's got to be ready when they show up over in lines on Friday night. But we'll move on, Kevin. We got Grovetown coming in to play the Brunswick Pirates. Brunswick lost that city championship this past Friday night, Kevin, in overtime to Glenn Academy. Now, what do the Pirates do? Do they hang their heads? Do they get caught in the mire of that loss, or do they stand back up and play and get a win there between the bricks on Friday night? Grovetown really doesn't bring a whole lot to the table, but they are in that region, so this is a game that the Pirates have got to win. But we'll see if they can bounce back on Friday night.
Yeah, well, Brunswick's already lost to Terrytown. If they lose to Grovetown, the boat might sink. And so, this is a definite get-well game for the Pirates. There's no question about it. This is a chance for them to get some of their swag and swagger back. And it's time. It's put up or shut up time for the Pirates.
It is.
I think they, got off to a great start against Camden. Might have got a little full of themselves, quite honestly. I know they had a great summer. Went about things in the right way. Came out really focused, really sharp in that Camden game. But quite honestly, it may have gone downhill on them since. I think, missing that Winter Park game was huge. Due to the storm that week, missed a game against a good team. They come back, they blow out Islands, or they lost, to St. Augustine, a good team. No shame there. And maybe got some humble pie in that one, but come back and blow out Islands and maybe got a little full of themselves again. And look, I don't necessarily think they overestimated or underestimated Glen Academy, but they certainly didn't play well. And didn't come out and take care of business. Too many penalties, a couple of key mistakes, didn't take advantage of the opportunities they had to win that ball game. And Glenn walked right through the door when it was open. So Brunswick's a much better team than what they showed Friday night. And now the rest of the season, they've got to go get back down to business and look at themselves in the mirror and see how serious they are about having a really good season and finishing strong. Whether or not they'll win the region championship, we don't know. They won't have another perfect season. That's all fine and dandy, but they've still got a chance to possibly do some damage in the playoffs. We don't know how the brackets are going to fall, but they've got to get well starting now and take care of their own business and try to be the best team they can be going forward. But I look for them to come out and send a message, hopefully on Friday night, that they are back and they're going to be ready to go the rest of the year.
Yeah, the Pirates can ill afford another loss, Kevin, that's for sure. But Camden County is going to be open this week. Charlton, who's winless on the season, Kevin, who saw that coming? The Charlton County Indians, no wins, got to go to Dublin. Not an easy task there. Dublin's a pretty good football team, so Charlton could be in for a long night as they travel up to Dublin. Clinch is going to be open. Coffee is going to be open. And the next game we're going to talk about, Kevin, is Glen at Effingham. Glen coming off that high, beating Brunswick, winning that city championship last past Friday night in overtime. Final score was 22-15. But I know Glen is sky high right now. And oh, by the way, don't look now, but Effingham's starting to play some really, really good football. Effingham not only beat South Effingham Friday night, Kevin, but dominated that game. I think the final score was 42-7 or something like that. So Effingham's kind of finding their legs. We know John Ford's a really, really good coach. He's got those kids believing. This could be a trap game for the Red Terrors. They're going to have to go over to Springfield and play a really, really good football game if they wanted to try to win this region championship.
Yeah, no question. Similar situation here for both teams, coming off a rivalry win in the previous week. So they've got to reel everybody back in and get everybody's energy channeled in the right direction and concentrating on this football game. Obviously, they both probably spent the weekend being patted on the back. And when they got back to school on Monday morning, same kind of thing. So the coaching staffs on both teams have their work cut out this week, getting their kids, focused and getting back on track with knowing they got another game to play Friday night. And look, Sean, this is big. This is big in terms of the overall season for both teams, really. When you look at it, Brunswick was the team to beat. Glen's already done that. Effingham will play Glen Academy, Brunswick at the end of the season, just like they have the last 2 years. If Glen gets by this one, they are definitely in the driver's seat in terms of controlling their own destiny for that region championship and the top seed. If Effingham wins this one, then they should have possibly smooth sailing until they get to that Brunswick game, and it will be the same situation for them as it has been the last couple of years. They'll have a chance to win the region championship, possibly by playing Brunswick. But you know what? If Effingham wins this thing, Sean, we could get down to the end where Brunswick is back alive. And if they were to beat Effingham, it could be, a triangle. Glen beats Brunswick, Brunswick beats Effingham, Effingham beats Glen. And there goes these tiebreaker kind of things. We won't even get into that. and we'll see how it all comes out with whatever's in the rule book there. But anyway, I think it is a scary game for Glen because they do have to go to Springfield to play it. I would feel better about Glen's chances if they were at home. And I do feel like their win in a rivalry game was more emotional than the Effingham South Effingham game. So I think that card is a bigger deal for Glen Academy than it is for Effingham. But Effingham started off slow. They seem to be finding themselves a little bit here lately. That was a big win for them. And, look for Glen Academy to put Jay Nellis back in the backfield again at quarterback, and along with Ryan Schumann. And if he has the hot hand, they'll probably stay with him. But, this is going to be, again, I think it could be a low-scoring game. Both teams might play it close to the vest until they have to open up their playbook, if they do, in the second half. But, again, two well-coached teams, and this could be one heck of a ball game in Springfield Friday night.
Just like you said, Kevin, whoever wins this game is definitely going to have the upper hand. I mean, it's not a clinch by no means, but they're definitely going to be in the driver's seat and will be able to control their own destiny. So very, very important game there in Springfield Friday night. But Kevin, let's take a break. We'll come back right after these messages. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke. He's Kevin Price, and we're going to finish up all the previews for the games on 9/29. Kevin, we're going to start off with Frederica at Tatnall Square. Frederica coming off the loss to John Millage. Then they had to go on the road last week to play Clinch County, a GHSA team. 2 losses there, but now they got to get on the bus, go all the way up to Macon to play Tatnall Square Academy, Kevin. Tatnall Square comes in struggling, 1-4 on the season. We'll see if Frederica can get well, but see if the Jordan Triplett show can get fired back up to some of those early games. I know last couple of weeks he's had good numbers, but he had great numbers at the beginning of the season. So we'll see if Frederica playing some of that GIA competition can get back on a roll and rip a few off here and put them in the W column.
Yeah, Frederica started the season 2-0 with a couple of impressive wins, and then have lost their last 3, including to Bluffton, South Carolina, and then John Millage, who beats everybody, and then also Clinch, a tough game for Frederica going over there to play a GHSA Power in the single A ranks over in Homerville. And, so this game is back in the GIAA. It is a long trip, up into central Georgia. But when you look at this Tatnall Square team, Sean, I looked at their record at first, and I was like, 1-4. But when you look at it, they're not afraid to play anybody either, apparently.
Right.
They've lost to Schley County, a really good ball club from GHSA. They've also lost to Bowden, another GHSA team, and they've also lost to Mount Vernon. And that might not sound like much, but Mount Vernon is ranked as well in GHSA. So they've lost to, 3 GHSA schools that are all ranked or, have had winning seasons here in the recent past. So that's 3 of their 4 losses. And Frederica does have to make the bus trip. And I heard Coach Brandon Derrick talking Sunday night on one of his radio shows that, Frederica's, got to know how to travel. I mean, this is a definite trip. It's not just a hop, skip, and a jump. So, but they do have, Jordan Triplett in the backfield. Hopefully he can be the difference maker in this ball game for them and get him laddered up and ready to go. And hopefully he can run wild up there in central Georgia and make the difference for them. But not necessarily the pushover that I might have thought it was until I started researching the ball game. But hopefully Frederica does have the better team all the way around, and hopefully they do have the best player on the field with Triplett.
Yeah, do need to get one back in the W column. We'll move on. We got Berrien at Jeff Davis. And Kevin, this is interesting. Jeff Davis coming off a loss last week to Cook County, but played really well against Cook County. Their linebacker, Mullis had a really, really good night for those guys. And listen, this game was, I think, 20-7. I think was the final score, something like that. But it's still an impressive loss if you can have an impressive loss, because Cook's a very, very good football team. So maybe things are turning around for Jeff Davis. Berrien kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde team, been up, been down. Got a really, really strong running back over there at Berrien. So we'll see if Jeff Davis can keep him hemmed up and put one in the W column there in the Pinelands on Friday night.
Yeah, I think that's the key, playing strong defense again, kind of keeping it maybe a low-scoring game. Like you said, it sounds like they were competitive against Cook, which I know is a solid ball club, losing that game. I think the final score was 21-6, and that game was at Cook. So Jeff Davis going to be back in the Pinelands, like you said, a chance to break into the win column there in region action. Berrien struggling a little bit, but again, I think you're right. The key is to keep that guy hemmed up, and hopefully they can put enough points on the board over there to get a win. I think Jeff Davis is improved, and hopefully they can show it on Friday night.
Yeah, they doubled the win total from last year already, and we're, in game 7. So, hopefully Coach Lance helped them put another one in the W column. Liberty's going to go to Groves, got to travel over to Savannah to play Groves, but maybe Liberty can get one in the W column. I think there's been struggling this year. I don't know if they've won any. They've only won one to this point. Maybe they can get another one there at Groves on Friday night. And the Savannah Christian is going to go to Long County. Long County lost a tough one last week. The Savannah Country Day, which is a region contest. Now they got to play Savannah Christian, which is another region contest this Friday night. But the Blue Tide do get them at home, so we'll see if the Blue Tide can get back to the winning ways. And then ATCO got to go over to MCA, got to play in McIntosh. McIntosh last week, Kevin, I think kind of got caught blindsided by Bradwell Institute. I thought McIntosh might go in there and be able to get that game. And listen, I know it's a 5A school versus a 1A school, but recent history would dictate that, McIntosh would have been able to play and win that game, but didn't happen for McIntosh. So now they got to try to put one back in the W column.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
The next game we're going to talk about, Kevin, is New Hampstead at Benedictine. I believe this is a region opener for both of these teams. Kyle Hockman's got to play a really, really talented bunch there with the cadets, and got to go to Memorial Stadium there in Savannah to play them. So this could be a good one, and we'll see if the Phoenix can find a way to get it done.
Yeah, New Hampstead 2-2. They've obviously played some really good competition. Their last couple of ball games lost big to Camden, but gave Richmond Hill all they wanted a couple of weeks ago. Lost that game close 28-26. I think a key thing in this ball game is New Hampstead's had a couple of weeks to sit there and study every crook and cranny about this Benedictine team that they can. And Kyle Hockman being an offensive guy, spread guy, he's probably dissected that BC defense, watched every piece of film he can to try to see where he might can get some kind of advantage. And he may be having a hard time finding it, but if he can find it, he's going to find it. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of game plan, what kind of approach New Hampstead takes offensively. But if they can move the ball, if they can score points, they still got to find a way to slow down this Benedictine offense and their great quarterback. Benedictine, by the way, Sean, has only allowed 57 points all season long in 5 games. Of course, they're the number 1 team in Class 4A, but they're averaging 35 points a game along with that. So they can put points on the scoreboard too. So a tough assignment for New Hampstead this week. Everybody in that region going to line up and give Benedictine their best shot. Benedictine should be loaded for bear and ready to handle it. But, we'll see if what New Hampstead can do getting the first shot at the cadets there in the region.
Those 57 points, Kevin, half of them came in one game against the Ware County Gators, or almost half anyway. So, but anyway, so that defense is really, really stout. When you got three D1 defensive linemen, you're going to be pretty good on defense, and that's exactly what the Cadets have. But Richmond Hill is going to be open this week, so we'll see if they can get ready to play Camden County the following week. That's going to be a big contest. And then Scriven County is going to go over to South Effingham. We'll see if South Effingham can bounce back. I was undefeated before last week until Effingham, put them in the loss column. We'll see how that game goes. Then you've got Statesboro is going to be open, and then Ware's going to be open. Statesboro, Ware, Coffee, all those guys part of that region. I think every one of those teams are off this week as they get ready for region play next week. And then the last game we're going to talk about, Kevin, is Wayne at Burke. Our old buddy Franklin Stevens from Ware County is up at Burke County and doing pretty strong there. He's 5-0 on the season. He's got the Burke County Bears ranked. They're playing some really, really good football. So Wayne's going to have their hands full. They've got to figure out a way to be more than one-dimensional, or they're going to be in for a long night when they go up to Waynesville and the Augusta area of Georgia. Because I'm telling you right now, if you can shut Matt Fuller down like Appleton County did, their offense is kind of gets jammed up. So maybe they figured out something to be a little bit more than one-dimensional as they go take on Burke County this Friday night.
Yeah, Matthew Fuller did have 156 yards, I think, on 21 carries last week against Jenkins County, but still Wayne only won that ball game 9-0. He's averaging 177 yards per game on the ground, but there's no question that Burke County knows he's the main man to stop, and I'm sure Franklin Stevens is going to have a good plan for him and is going to try to force Wayne County's hand and make somebody else beat him. You're right. I think the deeper they go, the better teams they play. They're going to have to find some other way, to move that football, at least to keep teams honest, and particularly, in third down situations. It can't be, every time that it's automatic that they're going to Fuller. I know he's the guy they want the ball in their hands, but when some of these better teams load up on him, you better have another answer. But again, you're right. Franklin Stevens has done a great job at Burke. When you look at their scores so far early in the season, they were maybe having a little trouble scoring points. Now they're scoring over about 20 every game, and I don't think anybody has scored over 20 on them all season. So he's a defensive-minded coach. I'm sure he started with defense when he built this Burke team, to mold it like he wants it. And, they certainly seem to be, following in the right path. But they're ranked 7th. Burke is. Wayne County's 9th. Of course, if you're looking for a comparative score, Burke beat Statesboro just last week, 34-0 for what it's worth. And Wayne County beat them a couple of weeks ago, 31-13. So that is what it is. But Matthew Fuller, we all know about. He's the go-to guy for Wayne County, but Burke County has their own go-to guy that Wayne County is going to load up to stop. So it's kind of the same situation. But his name's Jensen Brantley. Last week in that ball game against Statesboro, 10 touches, 136 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So a lot like Matthew Fuller, he can dominate a game if you let him. And I know that's the last thing Wayne County wants to do. But Sean, a pivotal ball game right here because these two teams want to try to keep pace with Benedictine in that region. So the winner obviously has a leg up, and then both of these teams, of course, will line up and take their shot at Benedictine, going forward. But obviously a key ball game in that region as well.
Yeah, the four playoff teams, I think, in that region, Kevin, are playing this weekend. When you look at New Hampstead at Benedictine and Wayne at Burke, the question is, in what order are they going to fall? So, I mean, and these games Friday night will do a lot to dictate that. So we'll see how the rest of the season shakes out. But I think at the end, it'll be these 4 teams in the playoffs from that region. It'll just be in what particular order do they find themselves when they go through region play. So, but hey, listen, everybody, we appreciate everybody watching On Air with 912 Sports. Get out and see a high school football game this week. Kevin's going to be on the call between the bricks there, between Grovetown and Brunswick. Ware County's off, so I'm going to check out the big Appleton County and Pierce County game there in Bearville. It's going to be a barn burner. But get out and see a high school football game. Appreciate everybody watching. Stick around. We got more On Air with 912 Sports right after these messages.
play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.